Hi, everyone. This is Pam Pally with Focus IT, and this is part 4 of our 4-part basic training calls we've been doing this month in November. I'm really excited to finish this series out. I hope you've enjoyed it. We're going to be starting this call here in just a few minutes. We want to give everyone a chance to get logged in. I appreciate your patience. We'll be starting here shortly. Hi, everyone. This is Pam Pathy with Focus IT, and this is part 4 of our 4-part basic training call. We're going to be starting the call here in just a little bit. We want to give everyone a chance to get logged in. So we appreciate your patience. We'll be starting here shortly. Hi, everyone. This is Pam Piley with Focus IT, and this is part 4 of our 4-part basic training call. We're going to be starting this call here in about 3 minutes. We want to finish allow everyone to get a chance to get logged in before we start. So we're going to be starting the call in about 3 minutes. I appreciate your patience. Thank you so much. Okay, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. I've got a lot of great things that I want to share with you, and I want to do a walk through actually creating a marketing email template today during the call. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that I'd like to do is just review what was covered in the first 3 calls real briefly. We've talked about when you log into Pulse Marketing for the first time, the only thing you really need to do under the admin tab is simply come in and change your passwords. Everything else is set up for you, and there's not really much for you to do. We've talked about every email going out, having the recipient having the option to unsubscribe by clicking the link at the bottom of each email. And they get recorded here. And then, of course, this list is used each time we generate a list for you to make sure that those customers who don't wish to receive your marketing emails any longer get any more. We talked about a simple reporting screen that allows you to come in and choose a certain campaign that you've sent out, a certain email template, and it allows you to search by that particular template to see the results. It'll show you if they were delivered, bounced back, or rejected, who the sender, the recipient, your subject, your template name. We even give you this wonderful little blue view content link so that you can see what they look like, just in case you don't remember. We also record over here whether they were opened, if there was a hyperlink, if it was clicked on, and if they chose to opt out. Most importantly, we give you your stats up here. Like I've said before in the prior calls, that if your open rate is anywhere close to 50% of your delivered rate, you're doing really well. Because most customers, most people, when they receive their emails, don't open them. They look at them in their preview window and then they move on. Because they don't open them, that open return notification doesn't get received, which causes this number to be more on the lower side. So if you're getting anywhere close to, a 40 or 50% open rate, you're probably more at around 70, 75%. We talked about how important the lists were and that you need at least 2 to 3 different lists based on what you're doing. We talked about creating dynamic lists so that they self-maintain and clean themselves. They add new loans, remove loans when they get new statuses or move to different folders. So that is the importance of using a dynamic list. The list types we talked about was all closed loans, all files, all leads. We also talked about our ability to do an external list, which allows you to import the first name, last name, and email address from any database that you wish to do so. You just have to provide that in the form of an Excel spreadsheet to be uploaded. External lists are really nice. You can bring in past clients. You can bring in lists that you've purchased and different things along those lines to include them in marketing campaigns. And you don't have to add them to your Pulse or to your Point database until you're ready. We talked about the manual list. The manual lists are for those rare email template exceptions that only you as a human can decide how you want them handled. You either have to create a special way to identify them in Point, or you can create them as manual list in Pulse, so that when in Pulse Marketing, so that when you're in Pulse and you open up that loan and you go to the Marketing tab is going to show those particular manual lists and allow you to select which one that Mary would necessarily, you would want Mary to participate in. So in this case, if Mary was considered a hot lead, you could check hot lead. It would come back and say that it was saved successfully and it updated the marketing. If you needed to, if you no longer wanted Mary to be in that campaign, you'd also have to come in here and physically remove Mary. So I try to encourage, if at all possible, to be able to track this information through a dynamic list so that you can make exceptions to when loans are added and removed. But if you want more details, you can refer back to the recordings, and they're posted out on our YouTube website, and I'll show you that at the end of the call and provide you with those links again. So we talked about templates last week. We talked about the standard templates that you use for all of your customers, which are like birthdays and holidays. If you're not sending out birthdays and holidays and you're a Pulse client, you are missing out on a very valuable feature of your product that you're paying for. Birthdays and holidays are very simple to set up. They're easy to go out, you set them, you forget them, and that way that you're at least touching those borrowers 4 to 5 times a year, just so that they remember who you are and how to reach you. So it's very important to at least have the birthdays and holidays set up. But we've also talked about how important it is to go in and create those lead emails also. You want to be able to have different types of groupings of emails for different types of leads, like your hot leads, cold leads, credit repair. Especially the most important one that I've run into, the most that I hear from my clients is the deals that they missed out on their pre-quals. It is so easy to pre-qual a customer and give them their pre-qual letter and send them on their way to look for their dream home. And then you end up heads down into future deals, closing issues, things like that, and they get overlooked and you neglect to follow up with them. It takes them 3 or 4 months to find that dream home. If they haven't heard from you in 3 or 4 months when they find that dream home, what's the likelihood they're going to come back to you for that mortgage? Not very good if it's a really good realtor who has a great relationship with someone else and they know that based on that relationship, they have a better guarantee of getting that loan closed than having the potential purchaser of that home go back to a loan officer who they've never done business with. So you want to make sure, at least on those pre-quals, that you're keeping in touch with them. That's very important. We also talked about, or we're going to talk about today, how important it is to make sure that you reach out to your loans after closing. Just because you've closed the deal and you've gotten that commission check doesn't mean that that relationship is now done and over with and you're moving on. You want to continue that relationship. You want to make sure that that borrower comes back to you when they're ready to refinance, when they want to pull equity out of their home, when they're going to sell their home and purchase a new home. So you want to make sure that you're using within our system, just like birthdays and holidays, 2 of our basic emails. One of them is in the system as 30 days. Let's see if I can get this to pop up real quick. Nope, it's not going to. Okay, let's see. There's one 30 days after closing, which is a really good email template. We were working on our marketing site earlier, and I'm maybe missing that one. So I'm going to apologize. We'll take a look in just another minute. But while I'm here, I do recommend that you do put into place, which are very easy to do, is 30 days follow-up after closing, and also the 1-year anniversary of their loan closing. Basically, you're simply reaching out to them. And in this particular case, you're simply saying 1 year together, and we what? We love you. We appreciate you. I like appreciate. We appreciate you more than ever. We just wanted to send you a note to show our gratitude. It is because of clients like you that we enjoy what we do. So it's very simple. It's just nice. You're letting them know that you're thinking of them, and it's keeping your name out in front of them. Those are two very simple emails to send out. They're very easy to set up. We already have them in the system for you, and I promise we do, but for some reason my 30-day follow-up email is missing from my demo site, which I apologize. I will have to look into finding out where it went to and getting a copy reapplied to the demo site. But the other one for the 30-day follow-up does a really nice job. You'll also notice here, as we're scrolling through, we have a happy 6 month on a borrower also, which is just some helpful hints for them on, putting money toward their debt, shop around your home journey, time to follow up. This may be more of a lead one. I'm sorry, I'm really looking for my 30-day one, and I'm not finding it, which is a bit disappointing. So anyways, the 30-day one simply says it's been 30 days since your loan closed. We hope you're happily settling in. We appreciate you putting your financial trust in us. It's worded really nicely, and it does a nice job. And it would definitely be out on your sites, but with this being my demo site, sometimes things tend to get beat up just a little bit. So you definitely want to make sure that you go through all of the different emails and you pick out, as I said, at a minimum, everyone, you want to make sure that you're using the birthday and the holidays, because those are very easy to do and don't require a lot on your part. You're simply picking out the wording and the picture that you like. The 30-day follow-up and the loan anniversary is also a very easy one to pick out. Those I usually recommend for my clients to do out of the gate as the first grouping that they do. The second grouping that I usually recommend that they do is go back and take a look at all of the other different ones that we have to offer on the lead side. Pick out which ones you'd want to do for the leads. You want to select what groupings you want to put them in based on what lead types. So we now have your whole database covered with birthdays and holidays. We have that wonderful relationship being maintained with your closed loans by doing your 30-day follow-up, your 1-year anniversary, and of course they're in your birthdays and your holidays as well. You've gone through the system and you've looked and you've isolated the different lead emails that you wish to use. And you've isolated the type of leads in which they would be applicable to, like how to improve your credit score would be for a cold lead that you weren't able to do anything with, versus a pre-qual. You would want to pick out one of our emails that talks about the do's and don'ts. When you've been pre-qualified or once you've moved into processing, you do want to maintain your employment. You do want to continue to pay your bills on time. You do want to continue to maintain your existing debts. You don't want to pay off large collections or charge-offs without speaking with your loan officer. You don't want to apply for any new credit. You don't want to make any major purchases. This is one of my favorite ones. Don't plan a vacation during your loan transaction without informing your loan officer. But different things like that, reminding them, cash deposits and non-traceable funds, create a problem. Don't close out your credit card accounts. People think that improves your credit score. Sometimes, usually, 90% of the time, that has more of a negative effect on their credit score than it does necessarily a positive effect. So this is a wonderful one to send out on those pre-quals. Okay. So we've covered the email templates we've delivered. We've talked about what we've covered in the prior calls, and I've done it in a pretty condensed, quick review because I wanted to have time today to talk about emails that you want to send in what we consider mass emails. At least once a month, you want to do something outside the norm. You want to either come in and take advantage of our newsletter that we will start providing, and I have a couple older copies here. We will start sending all of our customers notifications that we've uploaded a new newsletter for them to their marketing site that they can go in, set up, and send out if they wish to do so. The newsletters are being done by our full-time marketing person here that is building out our content. And of course, when we put it to your site, we would have the insert tag for your logo, and then we would have some basic articles contained in that newsletter. We would be placing a copy of this newsletter on your Pulse marketing site. It's available for you to use, and of course, all emails are totally customizable on your behalf. So if this was something that you wanted to use, you would have the freedom to come in each month and edit it, apply it to the list that you have set up, depending on who you want it to go to. If it's a newsletter, I would recommend definitely sending that out to your entire database. Then you also have the ability to come to the to step 3, to the message template section, and you can come in and make any changes you want. I really don't like this particular article. No problem. You can simply delete the article if you wish to do so by deleting the cell. It would remove that and only leave the ones that you were interested in. You can come in and change some of the wording. You can change where the hyperlinks go. Whatever you're comfortable with, it's yours to make whatever changes you wish to. So that's one of the things that you can do by reaching out to your clients on a monthly basis, besides the other emails and stuff that you send them. One of the fun things that I like to do, and I know how precious your time is, and I know how little time that you have on a regular basis, but if you set 1 hour, just 1 hour aside every month to come in and create a marketing email that you could send out to a potential list, and you could do it and do it very quickly in as simple as 1 hour, it had the potential to generate you at least one, if not many deals. Wouldn't it be worth that 1 hour, everyone? Wouldn't it be worth coming in and doing it? You're thinking, if I came in to do this, I would need more than 1 hour, but you really wouldn't. Let me show you how. Let's walk through it. Let's say, for instance, that I come in and I want to create a list, okay, and I want to focus on all of my closed loans that are over a year old. I don't want to focus on my recently closed, but I want to focus on all of the closed loans over a year. So what I need to do is create a new list. Well, that's easy enough done. Remember, we walked through it. Click on Create a List and come over here and do Closed Loans 1 year old. Okay, of course, I'm going to make it a dynamic list. So if I decide to use this list for a different type of email, in a couple months, I can come back and use it, and it will pick up all my all the loans that have reached that benchmark over the last couple months. I'm going to come in and I'm going to do Next. And of course, under the folders, give this a second to catch up. Under the folders, I'm going to choose my closed loan folder, of course. And then I'm going to come over here to my point field. Now, everyone uses the different fields inside point. I like to use 6055. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to tell it that I want it to look at field 6055, which is the closed loan date. But you may also choose to use the funded date or any of the other dates. Now, we've covered this in our past training calls, but where does this ID number come from? How do I look it up? Well, let's do a quick review. Inside Point, everyone, with all your files closed, remember you can come up here and click on Utilities. You can go to Load Field ID Numbers and Borrower. You can come up to Track. After you load Borrower, it opens up a blank loan, and inside every blank loan, it provides you the field ID number. So now if I was to go to the Track Status screen and I would just scroll down for Closed, right here's the field ID number 6055. It's that easy to look up those field ID numbers, and now that I know how to look them up, I have the control in my hands to be able to create my list and insert my merge tags based on any of the 5,000 fields we sync from Point over into Pulse. So I'm going to do loans close date, but now I'm going to do a different condition. This condition we created for you is called older than. So basically, it's older than X days. So basically, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to enter 360 or 365, whichever one you like to use. So I'm saying if the close date is older than 365 days, add it to my list. I have one condition for this because I'm going to send this out to every closed loan. I don't care if they were a purchase or a refinance. And I'm going to come down here and click preview. And there are all of my closed loans that are over a year old. It's as simple as that. It's that easy to do. I have my list. That's the hardest part, honestly, I promise. Now that I have my list and I have it built, I can use it now or I can use it anytime in the future. So now let's go back to templates. Now I need to create my template. Okay, so how do I create my template? Well, I simply come over here and click on Create Template. After I create the template, I want to choose the list that I just created. And of course, if I had an external list or any of the others that I knew contained emails I wanted included, remember you can choose more than one list to be included in an email template. I'm going to go next. And of course, remember, we're going to do a little refresher here as we go along. We do scrub those lists for you. The first thing we do is we build that list, compare it to the opt-out list, and then from there we scrub all the duplicates so everyone's only going to get one email. So now we're going to come over here and give this a name. Okay, so how about something like, why should I refinance? Why should I refinance or do a home equity line of credit? Oops, home equity line of credit. Okay, maybe something as simple as that. You're going to come up with some better wording, okay, but you get what I mean. Why should I refinance or do a HELOC, a home equity line of credit? You could spell it out. Some people know what HELOC is, some people don't. You could just simply say, why should I refinance, or why should I be wasting the equity in my home, or how can I make the equity in my home work for me? I like that too. You can do different things along those lines and come up with some great subject lines. Of course, most of these emails come from the loan officer, but you know that you can choose from any of the twos on the list, any of the contacts on a file that's available to you on the list. And then, of course, you always want to enter a default email address in case that loan officer is no longer with you. You still have a right to solicit those potential borrowers for future financing needs. Over here, usually what you do is you do a generic one for the company and you put the company name. And of course, you would not want to do not reply. A lot of my customers have set up a marketing at and their domain name as a distribution list, and then they have it going to several key individuals within their company. Down here, you get to choose who it's going to, because I'm not going to address this specifically to a borrower or a co-borrower. It's going to be general. I get to select both of them. If I was personally addressing it to the borrower or to the co-borrower, I would need to do two versions of this email. And of course, because I'm going to do this as a mass email, I'm not going to CC or BCC anyone, because if I do, I would have a lot of people who would no longer like me. I'm going to come down and remove the reply to, because I want it to go back to whoever the sender is. And I'm going to come down and put this into production mode. And I'm going to go next. Okay, so that's easy. We set all that up. Now, the most intimidating part is this blank screen. Okay, the blank screen is intimidating. Okay, no one likes it. They don't know what to put here. They don't know where to begin. What should I do? Well, the first thing that you want to do, which is what I like to do, is I like to get rid of that blank screen. So what I'm going to do is, let's see if I can grab it. Let's see if I have one. I was going to drop in our company logo. I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to copy the image. Let's see if I can grab it from there. It's going to go really large on me, isn't it? Let's unlock it and bring it down to about 100. And I'm going to drop it in. Okay, so the first thing that I did was I went and I got a copy of our logo and I put it in the email. Okay, so I'm sure that you would be able to, in this particular case, you would be able to click on the image icon and you would be able to go to upload. You'd be able to click on choose a file and you'd be able to go locate your logo wherever you have it stored on your computer, because I seriously doubt that anyone on the call doesn't have at least one copy of their logo stored somewhere on their computer. Okay, so you could upload your logo simply by doing that. In this particular case, I don't know where I have my Pulse logo on my computer right now because I've been having some issues with my computer, so I grabbed it off the website. So that's the first thing that I'm going to do. The next thing that I want to do is I want to come up with a picture that is going to kind of catch everyone's eye. Okay, I wanted to kind of say what the email is about, but I also want it to kind of catch everyone's eye. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to open up a new window. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to type in. If you type in picture, okay, and you type in something like picture of a house with equity, okay, and trees. I'm doing this because I'm cheating, okay, but you could come in and you could type in anything you want, and when you do, you'll find a hyperlink that will actually take you to a site with so many pictures to choose from, okay? So all you have to do is go out to Google and search. And when you do, you're going to find a wonderful set of pictures out there to choose from. And in this particular case, the one that I happen to like, that I found, and now it's not going to come up. Oh, seriously. Well, I could scroll for a while because you can kind of get lost in these, which most people do. I do quite often. Okay. But I went ahead and I found a picture that I liked, and I'm going to go ahead and show you what that picture looks like. So I found this picture out there. So all I did is when I found that picture and I liked it, all I did was click on it to open it, point to the picture, right click, and I went down and I copied the image. Once you've copied the image to your clipboard, what you're going to do is on all computers, no matter what they are, you have a product called Paint. It's delivered with Windows. I like to use Paint because it's a very simple application and it's very easy to use. So then what you do is you find your Paint program, you open it up, and you paste your picture in there. Once you have your picture pasted in there, now the next thing you need to do is you need to resize it. So I'm going to come up here to resize. I'm going to come over here to pixels, and I'm going to set this to 618. I don't worry about the bottom one because it'll adjust accordingly. But the width of it is 618 is what I'm looking for. Around 600 is what works really nice in the email. So if you're making notes, you want to work with something around 600. Once I have that done, then I'm simply going to save it to my desktop so that it's there and I can grab it when I'm ready. So I'd simply go to my desktop. I'll go ahead and I'll name this one Entitled 2. Okay. And I will go ahead and jump out of there and go back into marketing. Now I can come over here and click on my image icon now that I have my picture, go to uploads, go to choose, go to my desktop and find my picture. But what I do recommend everyone is if you're going to start doing this, and it's a lot of fun to do, create yourself a folder. And as you find different pictures that you think you may want to use for future marketing emails, just copy and put that picture in there so that you have it when you're ready to use it next time. So I have this picture that I saw. I kind of like this one because it's a house. And we're talking about equity in a home. And I kind of like the idea of the coins going up with the different trees growing because we kind of wanted to indicate, you know, that they were growing equity in their home. And now they have an opportunity to do something with that equity. So I kind of chose that one and I brought it in, but basically the picture could be anything. Okay. Once I have the picture in, I'm going to enter down to the bottom and I'm going to go to the left side. So I'm going to left justify. So I have my logo and I have my picture. Don't get all caught up with finding the perfect picture. Find something that just gives them an idea of what you're trying to describe to them or the hints that you're trying to provide to them. You can go in and, like I said, you can type in something as simple as a picture of a house with equity and look at all the different things that you get. Okay? I didn't want it, I wanted something a little bit more on, I don't know. I didn't want something more cartoonish. I wanted something a little bit more serious. I wanted something that just didn't just show a picture of a house, and I didn't want to show money because it can be pretty self-evident of what you're referring to. So that's kind of how I ended up with this picture. So I kind of liked it, but it's really all your preference. So make sure you have your logo on your local computer and have fun and go out and find those pictures. Create a folder on your desktop or under your My Documents at the root of your C drive, whatever works for you. And as you're scrolling through, you may find a picture that doesn't apply to what this email is, but it may apply to something you want to send in the future. So in that particular case, just be sure to grab that picture, drop it into that folder, and then you'll have it available next time. Okay, so we've got the picture done. Now, what do I want to say in the email? What do I want to tell them? Well, how about if you were able to go out and search for something that simply says, why should someone refinance their mortgage? Okay, all right, something as simple as that. Why would you want to refinance? Okay, whether you've already refinanced once or whether you were purchased, why would you want to reconsider refinancing now? When you type something like that in on the web, I love the web, everyone, because the web gives me access to every library throughout the entire world, is the way that I look at it. So I can type that in, and it's going to come up with a lot of different recommendations. You're probably going to spend more time here out of that 1 hour perusing the different things, but you're going to find something that is very simple, very easy. I found this one, 4 Smart Reasons to Refinance a Mortgage. I opened it up and I started looking at it. And I thought, wow, I really like what this has to say. I like the idea that it talks about interest rates have gone down. Okay, the primary reason many homeowners refinance their mortgage is to lower the interest rate. It's why we refinance just about any loan, whether it's a mortgage, student loan, or even a credit card debt, blah, 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 according to the White House, da, 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 da. Okay, so you have information there. Maybe this isn't everything you wanted to say, but it's got a little bit of what you wanted to say. So I'm going to highlight that and I'm going to copy it. I'm going to bring it back over, and all I'm going to do is paste it. I'm going to paste it right into the template that I just started. Right, there we go. So interest rates have gone down. The primary reason many homeowners refinance their mortgage is to lower their interest rate. It's why we refinance. Okay, this gets into a little bit more wording on it's why we refinance just about any loan, whether it's a mortgage, student loan. That's not necessarily what I want to say, so maybe I don't want this part of it, so I can simply delete it. But I have my first reason. Interest rates have gone down. The primary reason many homeowners refinance their mortgage is to lower their interest rate. And then from here, I can say, I could say to pull out equity or do anything along those lines, but I don't want to do that yet because I'm not done with my 4 points. So I'm going to copy that one in, and I'm going to keep scrolling down. What else does it have to say? Well, okay, maybe your credit score has gone up. All right, maybe that's a good thing. I kind of like that. That talks about credit scores going up. If your credit score goes up, maybe your interest rate is the same, but with a better credit score, you can get a better interest rate. So maybe interest rates necessarily haven't gone down, but your credit score has gone up. So I'm going to copy in your credit score has gone up. Even if the rates haven't gone down, you still may be available to qualify for a lower rate if your credit score has improved. And then it talks about the improving of the credit score, and it has some really cool links here. I kind of like this one. I don't want to change any wording or delete anything, so I'm going to leave it. That looks good to me. Now, the next one here, you need to lower your monthly payments. This is a good one. This is a good reason why you'd want to refinance. So I can go ahead and bring that in and drop it in. In extreme cases, you may need to refinance your mortgage or lower your payments, even if you can't reduce your interest rate. By reducing your mortgage to a term that is longer than what's left on the mortgage, you can reduce your monthly payments. That's a possibility. Maybe we lost our job and the new job we have isn't paying what the old one did, and my outgoing is higher than my incoming, so I don't want to lose my home. Let me go ahead and refinance so that I can drop that payment down. That's a really good idea. I like that. That makes sense to me. The next one is to convert an ARM to a fixed rate. I'm not so sure there's many ARMs out there right now. But as you can see, I ended up with 3 great bullet points on why you may want to refinance your home. Okay, now what I can do is I can come back in and I can add to these. The primary reason many homeowners refinance their home is to lower their interest rate or pull out equity to pay off other debts to lower their outgoing monthly expense. I still spelled it wrong. I'll come back and correct it later. Spell check's great. Anyways, you get the idea of what I'm saying. Okay, so you can come in and you can make those changes. You can enhance on these. You can tweak them a little. But there, voila, I have a marketing email. It was that easy. It was that easy to go out and to put it together, and I did it in what? About 15 minutes. Didn't even take me an hour. May take you an hour the first few times you do it, but as you get used to it, if you set that 1 hour aside each month and you go out there and you think of an idea or a change in the industry, whether it's rates going up, whether there is something you want to share in the form of a newsletter, whether there's some really good articles out there, whatever it might be, make it fun, make it interesting, make it catchy, okay, and try to change the subject on a monthly basis. You don't want to send out a refinance email every month. They're going to go in your opt-out list, or they're not even going to look at it and they're simply going to delete it, okay? But in this particular case here, I put together a very simple email. It's not lengthy to read. It's got 3 great bullet points, and it does a nice job. So I can simply go next. I can come to my next screen. I can set it up for a one-time. I can add it to my event. I can schedule it to go out today or tomorrow morning. I can set my time in which I want it to go out. And I can simply go next, and I can go finish. Now that I have it, okay, if I go find it in the list of all the ones that I have, right here it is. Why should I refinance or do an equity line? It's already tied out. My trigger is set. The last thing for me to do is simply flip it on, and I'm done. I'm good to go. What's going to happen, everyone, is that if you set that 1 hour aside each month to do this, and you wait to come up with all of your ideas in that 1 hour, it's not going to work, okay? You're going to look at a blank screen. You're going to sit there and try to come up with an idea, and it's not going to work, okay? You're going to fail, and I don't want you to fail. I want each and every one of you to succeed. So let me share a couple helpful hints. Take them or leave them. My feelings won't be hurt. What I like to do is I tell my customers so that you remember it on a regular basis. On your computer desktop, create yourself a folder, okay? Call it whatever you want. Best thing probably to call it would be marketing ideas, okay? In that folder, create yourself 2 subfolders, or create yourself 1 subfolder, okay? And this one could be images. The next thing that you want to do is you want to create yourself a what? A text document, okay? And you're going to call this one ideas, all right? So now, on your desktop, you have marketing ideas folder. Under there, you have a place to drop images, and from there, you have a text document that says ideas, all right? You're doing your day-to-day work. You're out on the internet. You're getting emails. You're coming across different things that are sparking your interest. You get an email, and in that email, someone mentioned something, and you thought, gee, that'd be a great idea for a marketing email. You're going to take just a few seconds, and what you're going to do is you're going to open up your text document that you labeled ideas, and what you're going to do is you're going to open up that email, whatever it might be, and let's see if I can find something here real quick. Maybe it was an email that came from MBA, okay? So now you have the email, and in the email they had a great idea. Whatever it was, they had a great idea. We're going to pretend this was it. So now what you're going to do is you're going to grab that idea, you're going to copy it, you're going to paste it into your idea, hit enter a couple times, and you're going to come back and you're going to click save. And you're going to close it, and you're going to keep going on. Okay, you're going to keep going on, and you're going to continue to do your work. You're going to continue to do those originations. You're going to do everything. You're not going to give it another thought. You already did the hard work. You grabbed the idea and you dumped it into a text document that you can look at later. Okay, now you're on the internet, okay, and you happen to be out there and you're looking at an article. And the article happens to have a really great picture, okay? So let's go ahead and let's go back to Google and let's go something like mortgage news, anything like that. And let's look at a couple articles, top stories, okay? Mortgage update, all right? So we open that up. Okay, we come to that, and it talks about a mortgage update, and you're reading all of it. And basically, this one was good. It was a great article and all that and everything, but it didn't give me anything that I'd want to grab and copy. But maybe this one for Fannie Mae, while I'm reading this article, I see this picture. And I go, oh, that's kind of a cool picture. Okay, so now that you have a cool picture, all right, what you can do is you can point to that picture and you can right click and you can go down and you can click on copy image. Now that's pasted it to what? Your clipboard, absolutely. So now you're going to go down to start. You're going to type in paint. It doesn't take too long. You're going to open it up. You're going to go to paste. You're going to come up here and you're going to do file, save as. You don't care the format. You're going to go to your desktop. You're going to find your marketing idea folder, which hopefully your desktop isn't as junked up as mine is, guys. We tend to make that kind of our document. You have it. You have an image folder, and then you're going to give it a name. House made of money. And you're going to click save, and you're going to close. And you may find another picture and a couple other pictures and some different ideas. You may come down and you go, wow, this is a great idea. Whoops, that one didn't work. Sorry about that. Anyways, you may find one that you go, wow, this is a great idea. I like this picture. Again, you're going to copy it and you're going to go do paint. By then it should be right there in your view. You're going to grab it and you're going to save it because maybe you want to send out a kitchen. Okay, maybe your email for this month that you're going to send out everyone is a great idea, best ways to invest your equity. I like that one. That's a great topic. Best ways to invest your equity. You show this picture. Oh my goodness, so sorry about that, everyone. I thought those were turned off. How embarrassing. Sorry about that. You're going to go ahead and you're going to do the article, best way to invest your equity. Put a picture in the email that looks like this and talk about, upgrade that older looking kitchen or, add that fireplace or, improve the lighting fixtures, whatever it might be. You can pick out some different things on that and elaborate with those. So now I have a couple pictures. The pictures give me ideas and the pictures themselves were ones that I like. I've set my 1 hour aside each month. Now when I go to log into Pulse Marketing, I'm going to open Pulse Marketing up. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my folder and I'm going to open up my idea notepad. Now in my idea notepad, I have different ideas that I can go back to and I'm going to pick one of them. Once I pick one of them and I'm going to use it, then I'm going to remove it from my idea folder. I may create a second text document, ideas already used, so that way if I want to recycle them in a couple of years, I can go back and look at them again. But basically, it's that easy, everyone, to gather those ideas during the course of the month, to gather the different images that you like or potential pictures you may want to use. And all you have to do is take a few minutes right now after the call to set up that folder on your desktop or under your My Documents, create that subfolder for image, create that empty text document, and have it ready. So when you get those next emails, when you're on that next website, when you're reading that next article, and you see information in that article that you think would be interesting to share, if you see that image that you really like and you could build a marketing email around it, save and store that image. So now that you have them, and you don't have to waste those few minutes that I did by going out and looking for the bullet points that I wanted to do and looking for the picture that I wanted to use, I've already done it. It's already there. So if I already had that information and I already knew what I wanted to do, how long do you think once I get used to doing this, it would take me to build that marketing email? It wouldn't take me very long at all, would it? So you think that you can't market because you're not a marketing person. You think that you can't find time to market to your database even though you know you need to, okay? You think that you need to spend a great deal of money to be able to market to your database and to be able to get that future revenue. You don't. It's really that easy to do, everyone. It's really that simple. You just have to put a routine in place. You just have to prep things ahead of time to make it easier for you. And you just need to learn to set that 1 hour a month aside. Put it on your calendar. Put it on your phone, whatever works best for you. And just tell yourself, discipline yourself, make it your New Year's resolution that you are not going to cancel that 1 hour. You're not going to change or move that 1 hour. You're going to set that 1 hour. It's at a convenient time, and you're going to make sure that you go in and send out that marketing email. Because then in 10 or 12 months, you're going to be able to go back, update that email, and resend it again. So you're not only creating an email to go out today, you're creating an email that you're going to be able to reuse again in the future over and over. So with all that said, I hope that you like the ideas. Let's take a few moments and let's look at any questions anyone may have posted. The first one is, are these meetings recorded? I missed the last two. Yes, they are. And I'll be sending you a link after the call today, and I get the fourth one uploaded. The link will take you to the YouTube website. And under the YouTube website, I've uploaded the last three, and I'll upload the fourth one. And I'll send you this link so that you can go back and replay them at your convenience. Is the 30-day closing template you were looking for called It's Been a Month Already? Yes, Michelle, it is. Oh my goodness, I'm so glad you can't see my face. It's pretty beet red right now. It did get renamed It's Been a Month Already. So yes, that's the one that I was looking for. Thank you so much for reminding me of that. And it is also a great one. So let's go ahead and let me show you what that looks like as soon as I can get my screen to refresh. Okay, and it's been a month already. There we go. Sorry about that, everyone. And I appreciate that, Michelle. I should have looked over and saw that you were trying to help me earlier. And I can't get it to stay up. The computer's being around. Anyway, here it is. It's been a month already, and this is the one that we were talking about, which simply shows them a calendar, and it's been a month already. We are always here to help you out. If you need anything since we last spoke, has there been any questions or concerns, we may be able to answer. That one's a very simple one, and of course, there's some other ones that you can choose from. So what I'd like to do is see if anyone else has any other questions that I can answer during the call. We have a small group today, which was kind of expected because we are at month end and a lot of people had Monday off, which made it a little difficult for them to be able to get caught up on everything and attend the call today. But I do appreciate everyone that did make time today to attend the call. Do I have any other questions that I can answer during the call today? Do you have a specific need or anything? Can you show the borrower and co-borrower campaign? In other words, copy a campaign. Absolutely, you can. That's my favorite thing to do. Once I have a campaign created, and if I'm going to personally address it to the borrower and the co-borrower, I'll make sure when I title that campaign that I put in it -borrower. So let's go back and let's open this one up. And I'll come back over here and let's say this one's being personally addressed to the borrower. So I will indicate borrower here. I will come down and only choose the borrower in the campaign. And when I go next, and I'm in the body of the email, down here, I would simply do hello. And then, of course, I'd want to put my merge tag in. And remember, we've talked about that. I can go down to the merge tag. I can go to my point or my pulse field. I'll go to my pulse field here because I can get to it faster. And I'll choose borrower's first name. And I'll simply say insert tag. So now this one's going to say hello, and it's going to insert the borrower's first name. And, of course, down here, if I was actually sending this, everyone, I'd want to make sure that I had the loan officer's name. So I would go ahead and I would go to my pulse and I come down to the loan officer and I would select their first name and I would come down and I would do the loan officer's last name. And I'd come over here and I do insert tag, hit my space bar, insert tag. Now it's going to insert the loan officer's first and last name. And I would go next. And I'm going to do not scheduled on this. I don't want this to accidentally go out. And I'll go ahead and I'll do next for now. and I'll do finish. So now I have my template and I have it all created and it's all set up to go to my, my borrower. Now all I have to do is bring it back up, come over to my Actions tab, and come over here and click on Copy. When I click on Copy, I'm going to click Confirm, and what it's going to do is create a copy of it, and it's going to place some numbers at the end of it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it. I don't have to do anything on the list side. I'm going to come over here, and I'm simply going to put Co-Borrower in front of it, remove the extra garbage. It's only 3 steps, people. Come down here, switch from borrower to co-borrower, step number 2. Go next, and then simply here, and you're going to learn this very quickly, but you're going to want to change the pulse field. So you could come here, and you could go down, and you could find the field for the co-borrower's first name. And of course, that's pulse field 116. You're going to learn that, and you're going to know it when you start doing these. So instead of looking it up each time, all you have to do is come change the number right here within the merge tag. So you'll change it to 116. You'll come down, you'll go do next. You'll do next and you'll do finish. And now you have 2 of them set up, one to go to the borrower and one to go to the co-borrower. And it works really quite nicely. So now you have both of them. It was that easy. All of your effort went into the first. The second one, you copy it, you open it, you change the title name, you uncheck the borrower, recheck the co-borrower, you change your merge tag, and you're good to go. Hope that answers your question. Can you explain the today difference, -30, and how that is best used? Absolutely. Basically, what we did is I wanted to give my users the ability to be able to control when an email goes out. I wanted to put it in their hands. And to do that, okay, against a particular field. So like for instance, let's go down and let's do that point field 6055 for the close date, okay? On the close date, if I wanted this email to go out 30 days after closing, okay, I could come in and I have the ability to say check if the close date equals today's date, check if it equals yesterday's date, check if the close date was in the last X number of days, which wouldn't be good because that's going to be doing a date range, within the next 30 days, which wouldn't do any good because it's going to look forward, not backwards. Okay, older than 30, still not going to give me what I want because I only want it to go out on the loan when the date is 30 days old. It's not an anniversary. I can't do equal because if I actually put a date in, then it's only going to run once and it's never going to run again. I can't do not equal to. Those were the options. They didn't work for me. They weren't allowing me to put the control back into the user's hands. So I asked my programmer to come up with this one. I asked him to come up with today difference. Okay? Basically what today difference is it gives you, the user, the ability to tell the system to look backwards or to look forwards from today for a specific date. And in this case, we're telling it to look for a specific date in the closed loan date field. So, excuse me, basically if I'm telling it to look backwards, okay, I need it to take today's date and I need it to minus 30 days. Okay, so take today's date minus 30 days. What's that date? And then take that date once you know what it is and go look at field 6055 and find any records on my list that have that date. And if they have that date, trigger and send out this email. I know that sounds a little complicated, so let's run through it again. Okay, so basically what I'm doing is I'm telling the system to take today's date and I'm telling it to minus 30 days and to find out what that date was 30 days ago. Once it knows what that date was 30 days ago, then I'm telling it to take that date, look at all of the loans on my list, look at field 6055, and if that date, if the date in field 6055 matches the new date it found by looking backwards 30 days, trigger and send out this email. It's as simple as that. So I can tell it to look back 30 days, 60 days, 180 days, 365 days. I can tell it to look back 2 years, 3 years, 4 years by simply telling it the number of days that I want it to look backwards. Now you also have the ability to tell it to look forward. Now looking forward in pulse marketing doesn't work. Okay, it really doesn't because you're marketing to your existing database, so you're triggering off past tense information. You're not really triggering on information in the future, but there's always that possibility, okay? If you didn't want to do it in pulse marketing, if you didn't want to do it in pulse and you wanted to do it under pulse marketing, one of the dates that you would always want to look forward to would be the estimated close date. So you could actually come in here and you could change this field to 6075, okay? And you could do the day difference and you could put 15. And this particular marketing email could be an email that goes out to the borrowers and the realtors, letting them know that hopefully, you have all your paperwork in and everything's good to go, because there's 15 days left prior to your estimated close date or something along those lines. That's the best one I could come up with for looking forward. Basically, looking forward, this positive number is used mostly in Pulse versus used in Pulse marketing. Pulse marketing, 9.9% of the time, you're going to enter this as a negative number because you're looking backwards to control when you want a particular email triggered on what file. So hopefully that explains it. Can you explain the use of the cells and tables? Cells and tables. I'm not sure I understand, Chris. I'll tell you what, how about if I unmute your line? Hi, Chris, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. Can you ask your question again? What are you asking? I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
When you go back to setting up the template, there's selections you can do as far as inserting a cell and tables and stuff like that. And I was wondering if you could kind of explain that in a little bit more detail.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would say if you're going to use a table, if you were going to, if you wanted to set something up where maybe you had a picture on the left side and you wanted to do some wording on the right side and you wanted them lined up, the best way to do that is to actually insert a table. So basically you could tell the system that maybe you wanted to do 3 rows with 2 columns, and the border size you would set to 0 because you actually don't want a border to show. You simply want it to be it's visible to you and visible to the people that receive the email. So now what you could actually do is over here you could insert a picture, and then over here you could insert some text. And of course you can always make that as large as you want. And depending on the picture you insert and what you do, you can stretch that out. And then of course you have the ability within your table properties to actually change the width of it. So you could change this from 500 to 700 pixels or whatever it is and expand it out. So tables most of the time are used when you want to line things up, left to right. I have a lot of our customers that like to come in and they will, because they're kind of used to the way they laid things out in other marketing systems, they actually will come in and they will create a table, but basically the table that they create is really just one. I'm going to delete this table. They'll come in and they'll do 1 column, okay, and they'll do maybe 6 rows, and they'll set their width to whatever they want it to be. They'll do 0 on the layout, and they'll do OK. And then basically what they do is they like to do sections within their email, and they want to know that the spacing is labeled correctly and spread out correctly, so they'll do it in tables so that they can control it. And then, of course, when the email is sent, it's invisible to the recipient. That, I've seen them use that on tables. So I can answer that part on the table part. And I'm going to ask you, Chris, I'll be honest, I've not done anything with cells. Where did you see the image for cells?
On that newsletter that you brought up and you deleted a section of it, you deleted a cell.
Okay, that is,
so what is,
yeah, that,
when do you use a cell?
Yeah, they do. That particular one used a cell, and the reason why is it wasn't created inside our application. It was created in a HTML editor. So our product, in case you didn't know, everyone, email templates, when they're created, we give you that wonderful little user interface screen for you to be able to go in and insert tables and do different things along those lines. But actually, when the what the system's doing in the background that you don't actually see, because it's required to be able to generate those mass emails and send it out. All products do it, like MailChimp or Constant Contact or any of those. Not gonna let me pass that without entering it. Is on the screen here when certain things are laid out, it's actually written in HTML code. So through the HTML code and the way that it's designed in an HTML editor, Chris, that's the reason why you saw the cells. And basically, it's just the product that they happen to use. If you were going to use an editor and you're familiar with writing HTML, you'd probably use cells. Most of my customers aren't familiar with that and don't write in HTML, so they use tables instead.
Okay.
Okay? Hope that helps. Wonderful. Great. So let's see what other questions we have out there. If you do the 30-day closed campaign, you will need to have the closed 2018 folder updated. Yes. If you're asking if you do the, if you want to send out the 30-day closed campaign, you don't necessarily have to have them moved to a closed folder. If you have chosen to use a single data folder and retain all your loans in that data folder, and you don't wish to break them out by different data folder categories like leads, loans in process, closed, and archive, you can select that one folder when you create your list, and then simply tell it to look in that folder for field 6055 for the close date, and when that close date is 30 days old. So do you have to move it to your closed 2018 folder? No. You can leave it in whatever folder you want. Do you have to update the closed status field inside Point so that it can look at that field and know 30 days from now when that field becomes 30 days old to trigger and send out that email? Absolutely, yes. So you do have to update your statuses, but if you wish to keep all of your loans in the same data folder, that is possible. You have to have the different folder structure, but you don't necessarily, we don't force you to actually use those folders. If you wish to keep them all in a single folder, you're welcome to do so. Okay. Wonderful. Any other questions? These have been great questions, and you've been an awesome group. This has been such a privilege to be able to do this and to be able to share all this with everyone. So what I will do is, we've run a little bit over, so I do apologize, but thank you everyone for staying with me. So hopefully I got everyone's questions answered and I didn't miss any. I will put this recording to, I will convert it to an MP4 version. I will upload it to our site, and I will get that link out to everyone on the call today by end of day so that you can go back and replay this or any of the prior 3 ones if you missed any of the other calls. Everyone, you've been wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope you have a wonderful holiday and a great new year. Oh, and before I forget, we'll be sending out an email, hopefully before end of week. We'll be doing a new 3-part training call next month for Pulse. And then after the first of the year, we're actually going to be doing a 3- or 4-part training call on helpful hints on how to better use Point. So we're going to continue these. Next month's topic will be Pulse, and in January we'll be talking about Point. So I hope you take time out of your day and join me again. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.